All right, y'all, we are back with another video, and here we go again. I am so sick of these Democrats. Look at CNN, MSNBC, ABC. It seems like at this point, they try to take everything out of context. Everything Donald Trump say, they take it out of context. Now these people are trying to say that Donald Trump, hope that Liz Cheney gets shot or some stuff like that, because he was talking at Tucker Carlson event last night. And see, that's the thing. They take everything out of context. They don't bring in what Donald Trump said before he get to a point. Because Liz Cheney is the type to just want kids to just get drafted into war and lose their life. But like Donald Trump said, she ain't trying to put herself in that position to go to war and fight. She want to send other people's kids so they can lose their life. So Donald Trump was making an example, and CNN and everybody just took it out of context and saying that Donald Trump won't wish death on Liz Cheney, want her to get shot, all type of stuff. See, this is what they trying to do. They trying to cover up the crap that Joe Biden had called Donald Trump supporters garbage. Mark Cuban saying that Donald Trump don't have strong, intelligent women around him. Them right there are the things that they trying to cover up. So that's why every time Donald Trump says something, they try to take it out of context to make everybody forget what Joe Biden just said and what Mark Cuban just said. So it's not going to work. And so now they going to form where they got like a AG in Arizona trying to investigate if Donald Trump was wishing, was it death threats or something like that. These people are sick. They are trying to steal an election. They're trying to find a way to try to disqualify Trump. It's 3 more days. Please get out and vote. Please. We got to get President Trump back in the White House. So like I said, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to the one who always watches the entire video. Without further ado, let's check this out by DAREALADOGG. And make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel. Let him know that I sent you. And without further ado, man, let's go so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about.
We're on day 3 when it comes to the Trump hoax. Okay, there's a new one that they're trying to push in reference to his comments on Liz Cheney. We're going to take a look at that. Secondly, Kamala Harris does come out and respond, and she does what she always does, lies her way through the interview.
Always.
And then number 3, there's a new scandal at the White House. Joe Biden, I guess, made his staff alter the comments he made about calling people garbage, which is a violation of the Presidential Records Act.
Yep.
So we're going to take a look at that and many more. Let's start with what actually Trump said at his event with Tucker Carlson last night in Arizona. Listen.
And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops.
Now, if you heard what Donald Trump said, he said, let's see how she'll feel if she was in that predicament. But see, what they do is they'll cut out everything Donald Trump said to get to that point and just keep the part where it sounds really bad. That's what they do. They do this crap all the time. These people, I'm telling you, all they're trying to do is steal an election. Of course, Kamala Harris is going to keep running with it and just telling even more lies.
To the mouth of the enemy.
All right, so let's apply some common sense here. If you listen to what he is saying very carefully, he is saying that if war hawks like Liz Cheney deployed overseas and had bullets flying at them, they would probably change their belief system around sending sons and daughters over to foreign wars that we know in the end is not going to result in a positive outcome for America. See Iraq, see Afghanistan, right? And so I know exactly what he meant. But the other thing here is the media, they're going to take it and turn it into what now they're saying is Trump has issued death threats when it comes to Liz Cheney. He's calling for people to take Liz Cheney out.
Wow.
And to show you how deranged and unhinged they've become over this comment, listen to what they had to say about the Arizona AG now investigating Trump. Watch.
Talk about this breaking news regarding Donald Trump's comments that he made about Liz Cheney in Arizona last night. The Attorney General is responding.
That's right. I just spoke to Attorney General Chris Mays about 2 hours ago for the taping of my Sunday show. She told me she just gotten off the phone with her criminal division chief, and she was investigating whether what Donald Trump said about Liz Cheney constituted a death threat under Arizona law. I'll tell you, under Arizona law, it is illegal to make threats or intimidate someone, can be charged as a Class 1 misdemeanor, Class 6 felony. Chris Mays told me they're looking into it. I asked her whether this was just political speech, free speech. She said we're checking to see if it crossed that line. But she also put it in the larger perspective. If you're here right now, you begin to understand how this place is ready for a high security event on Tuesday, an election.
Now, understand something. This is politics, okay? So they're going to say they're going to do whatever they can to diminish Trump. And that's why if he wins the election, I pretty much think it will be the death of him. Because what they're doing by running this story that the AG is investigating is not because it's really rooted in any truth. It's because they're trying to create more stories that favor Kamala Harris and don't favor Donald Trump. That's really...
That's exactly what they're trying to do. So at this point, all they're trying to do, and like I said before, they're trying to cover up the crap that Joe Biden said and what Mark Cuban said. So whatever Donald Trump say, they're going to try to find a way to twist his words. And just imagine, think of this. These are the same people that's calling this man Hitler. They got him almost assassinated twice. These are the same people saying that he had a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden. These are the same people on these shows who be wishing death on Donald Trump all the time. And then he say something which they took out of context and tried to say that he wished that he wanted something to happen to Liz Cheney. They know good well Donald Trump didn't say that. They know he didn't. But see, the thing is, the reason why they say that the AG got to investigate it, it's just something that they trying to put in the voters' head. They try to make say, oh, I can't vote for Donald Trump because he just said this. This is what this is all about. These people, Liz Cheney, all these people been saying bad things, even worse to Donald Trump. And then he say something that they took out of context and try to make it out of a big thing. These people are sick.
What's happening here? Propaganda, in short. So here's what Kamala Harris had to say in response, which was really nothing. But let's take a look.
Donald Trump's closing argument is very different. He pits Americans against one another. He spends full time having Americans point their fingers at one another.
That woman say the same thing every time.
And he spends a considerable amount of time plotting his revenge on his political opponents. As of last night, just to add more, he has indicated that the person who would be in charge of health care for the American people is someone who has routinely promoted junk science and crazy conspiracy theories, who once expressed support for a national abortion ban, and who is the exact last person in America who should be setting health care policy for America's families and children. And then, even worse, he has increased his violent rhetoric, Donald Trump has, about political opponents, and in great detail, suggested rifles should be trained on former Representative Liz Cheney. This must be disqualifying. Anyone who wants to be president of the United States who uses that kind of violence.
No, your ass should be disqualified because you didn't earn the spot that you got. Nobody voted for you. You the one that should be disqualified. So now she wants to, he should be disqualified, but she the same person that's calling Donald Trump Hitler, though. Think about that. This is the same woman that's calling Donald Trump Hitler. The same woman that she is just along with Tampon Tim saying something about Nazis at his rally. She been saying all of these bad things and having these people coming out to President Trump. But she the one to say he should be disqualified? Oh, she get to say whatever she want. And then the thing about it, they know Donald Trump didn't say that. But this is what she's going to try to run on. Just think about it. At the next one of her rallies, she's going to repeat these lies just like she's been doing for the longest.
Rhetoric is clearly disqualified and unqualified to be president.
Okay, so if that is the case, then you're not qualified either. Because when you call a former president a petty tyrant, when you say that he is Hitler, when you say that his supporters are like Nazi supporters and they're garbage, I mean, how many more things that needs to come out of your mouth that shows that you're not qualified either?
There you go.
You see, what
Double
we're
standard.
dealing with in this game of this election, because politics is a game in the end, very cutthroat game, by the way, is one side doesn't like the rules when it doesn't suit them, which is the Democrats. You don't see a lot of Republicans crying about the rules here. We know that Trump is going to be criticized every step of the way. We know anything that comes out of his mouth will be taken out of context. It's almost to be expected. Every single day, there's going to be some story. However, when it comes to Kamala Harris and the Democrats, they don't see it that way. They're too sensitive, in other words. So that's what she had to say. Here's her answering questions about the protests that she's been experiencing at her rallies.
You've had quite a lot of interruptions during your speeches recently, a lot of pro-Gaza protesters, and you certainly have spoken about democracy and responding to them, but do you think that you need to say a little bit more about the Mideast conflict or about what you would do to try to satisfy them? And are you concerned at all about how you'll do in college towns and in Michigan in particular with them? President Trump today is going to Dearborn, is going to a Palestinian restaurant. This is the second kind of Arab American restaurant he's gone to. He seems to be really trying to make a play for a group that would traditionally be pretty democratic. Do you think you've done enough to reach these voters?
Well, I'm very proud to have a significant amount of support from the Arab American community, both because of my position about what we need to do in Gaza and in the region to end the war and bring the hostages home.
This woman is a lie.
Commitment to a two-state solution.
She's a lie.
But also because within that community, there are many issues.
Yeah, you see, her answers always go back to Trump.
Yep.
Well, what they need to know is Trump is this and Trump is that, and I'm this and I'm that. And that's really not the answer to the question, right? And we know she's not going to give any type of confident answer.
Nope.
When it comes to people who are concerned about Hamas and Israel. In fact, there's a poll that came out today showing that Jill Stein is still beating Kamala Harris nationally as it pertains to Muslim Americans, 43 to 42%. So that's not good for her. And to give you guys some context, Joe Biden won the Muslim American vote in 2020, 67 to Donald Trump, 17. Now, since we're on the subject about what should disqualify the president, what comments are made that are controversial, and how there's just seems to be a double standard on the Democratic side, but not necessarily on the Republican side. Here's Scott Jennings inserting more common sense into this conversation. Watch how he responds when they're trying to excuse what Joe Biden and Mark Cuban said.
This week marks a huge mistake for Donald Trump in a community within the Latino world that he desperately needs.
Yeah, would you say that as far as surrogates go this week, it was a bigger problem for a comedian that most people have never heard of? Or was it a bigger problem for Joe Biden as a surrogate to call half the country garbage? Or even a bigger problem today for Mark Cuban to insult women voters who were thinking of voting Republican? Of those three surrogate issues, which would you say, Biden and Cuban, or this guy, I can't even remember his name?
The one difference in that is the reaction to it. I see your point, Scott, and we obviously talked about Biden's remark here. We're going to talk about Mark Cuban's comment in a moment. But Biden came out immediately to clarify that. Mark Cuban came out.
Biden came out to clarify. See, this is what they do. They pick and choose. So let's just say if Donald Trump say something, he come out and then he try to clear it up. They ain't going to give him that same benefit that they be trying to give Joe Biden and Mark Cuban. Well, Mark Cuban, he came back out and he said this right here. Oh, well, Joe Biden said it, but he came back out and said this. They always trying to make excuses for their side. When they do something, it's okay because they came back and cleared it up, even though we just found out that they altered the transcript at the White House for Joe Biden because we all seen the video when he said that Trump supporters are garbage and they tried to defend Joe Biden, and now we find out that they altered it. So that's another thing. And then you talking about, you heard what Mark Cuban said. Mark Cuban is still salty because Donald Trump didn't want to take his calls when he was in the White House. Donald Trump made that very clear that, Mark Cuban, he just was worrisome. He pretty much was worrisome. That nagging person that just constantly calls you and don't be talking about anything. They just want to talk. So Mark Cuban is mad. So that's why he joined over there with Kamala Harris to talk crap about Donald Trump. So it's just this double standard where they always trying to take up for Joe Biden, and when they make mistakes, they just don't hold their feet to the fire like they do Donald Trump and take everything he say out of context. So just listen to what Scott Jennings is saying, because he's making a lot of sense.
Or even a bigger problem today for Mark Cuban to insult women voters who are thinking of voting Republican. Of those three surrogate issues, which would you say, Biden and Cuban, or this guy? I can't even remember his name.
The one difference in that is the reaction to it. I see your point, Scott. We obviously talked about Biden's remark here. We're going to talk about Mark Cuban's comment in a moment. But Biden came out immediately to clarify that. Mark Cuban came out today to talk about his. Donald Trump has just claimed he didn't know who the comedian was at his
I'm sure
rally.
he doesn't, A, and B,
But he's still at his rally.
the campaign had a statement out before Donald Trump ever even took the stage. They dealt with it immediately.
No, that statement came out after the rally was over. I know, because I was at Madison Square Garden for 8 hours on Sunday.
Again, the campaign is not the candidate. The candidate could have dissuaded and spoken against this, and he has not.
Then you must agree that it's been kind of weird for the Kamala Harris's campaign, through anonymous statements from staffers, to change all of her positions on every issue then?
Wait, Scott, just come back to this.
She has not changed
You
her
had a guy on the stage.
This woman literally just said she has not changed her position. How come? She was against fracking, now she's for it? All of a sudden she's for it? You remember when she said kids from 17 to 24 are stupid? But then you ask her now, oh, I never said that. The same woman want to give illegal alien sex changer, but now she said, I don't. So, I mean, these people are just fake. They would not tell the truth at all. They would not tell the truth.
Madison Square Garden, the most prominent arena in the country, insult the Puerto Rican people.
Joe Biden insulted half the country. Mark Cuban insulted half.
See, that's the thing. They keep talking about Madison Square Garden. Donald Trump didn't say it. They trying to take out what a comedian said. It wasn't Byron Donalds that said it. It wasn't Vivek. It wasn't nobody that's in Donald Trump's circle. It was a comedian that talks like that. So, I mean, these people are trying to take what a comedian said and trying to put that on Donald Trump. When Joe Biden came out and said half Trump supporters are garbage, but they trying to say, oh, we ain't worried about that, but what about what this comedian said? But this is a sitting president that call Trump supporters garbage. Listen to this.
That's a great redirection. I want to ask you this.
Are there more Puerto Ricans or more women?
Joe Biden's also not running.
People, and
neither is this comedian.
Trump took a pass on it.
I'm sorry.
You're a former campaign manager. You would never let that happen, would you? Would you?
Number one, this pre-program was not helpful. I've said that numerous times. Number two, the fact that you all want to turn this campaign into something about an idiot comedian and want to ignore the clear bumbling stupidity of the president and Mark Cuban, to me, speaks volumes about
Donald Trump.
There you
the
go.
rules have to apply to them.
Yep.
They don't like that. They want to look the other way.
And DeVore, he's exactly right. Now you get this woman. I don't know who that other woman is, but she said, "Oh, Joe Biden's not running." It doesn't matter if he's not running. He's still the sitting president. It doesn't matter. He don't have to be running. So if that's the case, if you're going to use that comedian ain't running. You see what I'm saying? So it's a double standard here. If you're going to say, well, Joe Biden ain't running, so whatever he said is okay because he ain't running, well, that comedian ain't running for president either. So why is y'all using that and putting it on Donald Trump? Because that comedian ain't running for president.
But when they get to use those rules against Trump to diminish him, they're all in.
Yep.
And what do we call that? A bias, right?
That's
they
what
can't
it
even
is.
help themselves. They can't even admit. I find it so interesting. Trump supporters are more likely to admit when Trump is wrong versus Kamala Harris supporters more likely to admit when she's wrong. That's the interesting part about it. We know Trump is not perfect. Nobody is.
Nobody's
But
perfect.
everything that comes out of Mark Cuban's mouth, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, oh, it's okay. They didn't mean it that way. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why nobody trusts them. That's why their credibility is at an all-time low. And I'm telling you, this, if she loses, will be a contributing factor to why. So listen, when you're thinking about all these statements that are being made and the media taking them and trying to diminish Trump and use propaganda, the interesting thing about this news scandal from the White House, there's a clear violation of the Presidential Records Act. Let's take a look at this story. Listen, bottom line up front is what? We know exactly what Joe Biden said, but the White House altered the comments because remember, every time the president speaks on record, it's recorded for people to go back and read the transcript. Well, apparently they've altered those transcripts.
Yeah, we know they did that.
White House press officials altered the official transcript of a call in which Joe Biden appeared to take a swipe at supporters of Donald Trump. He did not appear, he did. So that's already, This has drawn objections from the federal workers who document such remarks. Okay, so let's read the quote again. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable and it's un-American. So his supporters, right? Very simple. But here's what they released. The transcript released by the White House press office, however, rendered the quote with an apostrophe reading supporters rather than supporters.
These people are crazy.
Pointed to Biden criticizing Hinchcliffe, not the millions of Americans who are supporting.
If Joe Biden was talking about that, he should have just said that comedian. He could have said the only thing is floating garbage is that comedian. He could have said that comedian, or he could have said the comedian name. He said it's his supporters. He said of Trump supporters is what he said. But they trying to clean it up as if we stupid or something.
Trump for president. Now, listen, if you don't know everything about the English language, what they're doing is they think people are stupid. Okay?
Exactly.
You're not going to convince me with an apostrophe. Okay, stop it. All right, we know what he meant. If he truly meant the comedian, he would have said, what? Let's go back to it. He would have said, the only garbage I see floating out there is that comedian
exactly
who made these comments.
Yep.
He didn't say that. So we're not buying that. Now, before I go any further, if you guys are getting value from this video, do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
Yes, do that.
If you want to support us further, go to the link in the description below and grab yourself some merch or buy us a cup of coffee. Now, remember how I said earlier that they've been trying to tell people that Trump wants to execute Cheney. Here's a clip from CNN reporting that in that way, which we know is not true.
I don't think you even need to call it fired upon. He's saying quite explicitly and unambiguously that Liz Cheney should be shot, should be executed by firing squad.
Man.
That is appalling. It is a small facet of the reasons why he's unfit for office. And
they know for. Then the thing is, you look at them and they know he can't even look at the camera. He's looking down. He know he's lying. Their job is to try to smear Donald Trump, take anything he say. Don't y'all ever notice something? Everything that they try to take from Donald Trump and turn it around and smear him, Kamala Harris goes straight to her. She goes straight to her rally and talk about it. Oh, Donald Trump said he want to execute. Why would Donald Trump get on camera and say, I want to execute Liz Cheney? Why would he say that? Like, these people are sick. They know he did not say that. It makes us mad because we know what he said. And what they're trying to do is flip it and say, this is what he said. But then again, these are the same people who's wishing death on Donald Trump, who wishing he would have got shot, who keep calling him Hitler. These are the same people. It is just sickening, man.
the Republican Party has made a disastrous mistake renominating him.
Okay, so obviously what he said was craziness. We know that's not what Trump meant. And what was interesting is, I guess he had enough courage on the same show to walk back those comments, and here's him clarifying.
Okay, let's go.
The platform formerly known as Twitter, there it is. She says this, quote, "This is how dictators destroy free nations. They threaten those who speak against them with death. We cannot entrust our country and our freedom to a petty, vindictive, cruel, unstable man who wants to be a tyrant." And she hashtags it, "Women will not be silenced." Jonah.
It's a good statement. I've been sitting here mulling Brad's defense of the statement, and I think he got a better point than I granted at the beginning. I still think what he said was outrageous and grotesque, but that's part of the problem, right? Is Donald Trump speaks in ways, sort of like Mark Cuban, that does not allow for nuance, shades of gray, exceptions to the rule. I have lots of criticisms of these women. Not all of them, though, right? But so when Mark Cuban says all of the women are, period, there are no smart, intelligent women around, strong women around Trump, that's just not true. Donald Trump does have a lot of not great people, men and women around him, and Cuban doesn't know how to talk about this kind of stuff. Trump likes to sound so macho and so tough that it freaks people out. And so like the clip about him saying, "I'm going to protect women no matter what," if you actually listen to the broader part of it, he's got a perfectly fine point, which is that the commander-in-chief is supposed to...
Now, y'all see what he just said. But if he, at least he went back and said that. But that's the thing. If he gonna say, if you watch the whole clip, you would see that Donald Trump said he want to protect our women because of the borders and the illegals coming over, doing this stuff to women, and we know. So he could have said on the same show that Donald Trump didn't say he wanted to execute Liz Cheney. He didn't say that. If you listen to the whole context, why he didn't say that for that one? They'll take out a little part and just use it and run with it. And now what he's talking about is the same thing Kamala Harris just already went on her campaign. Y'all heard what Donald Trump said about women? He gonna protect them whether they like it or not. And she used that whether he like it or not. Kamala used that and tried to tie that with abortion when he wasn't even talking about abortion when he said women like it or not. But Kamala Harris used the little phrase, women like it or not. She stopped it right there. She didn't play the context of it. She just played it whether he like it or not. And then at the rally, she brought abortion into it. And Donald Trump wasn't even talking about abortion at the rally when he was making that statement. It was about the illegal aliens. And he said he's going to protect women whether they like it or not. And that's what he's talking about.
Protect Americans regardless of who they are, regardless of their gender. But often when these things about sort of men are from Mars, women are from Venus kind of things, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And the way Trump talks.
People really do their research. They'll know exactly what Trump meant.
Yeah.
Clearly, the Kamala Harris campaign is going to try to use this as a way to convince people to vote for her and not for him. Obviously, we know the media is going to push it as a more propaganda message. All right, so now that we've got that hoax out of the way, here is Kamala Harris. This is starting to become a new pattern of her word salad on what January 20th will look like in the Oval Office.
Oh, God.
Don't know where she's going with this, but maybe you could figure it out. Watch.
Part of the thing that I'm trying to help people, not who are here, obviously, not the leaders who are here, but others understand, is if you're trying to kind of figure out what the stakes are, just imagine the Oval Office. We've all seen it on TV. And just imagine on January 20th.
Okay, so
I don't know what the hell she's talking about.
Every single day, there will probably be a new hoax when it comes to Trump, right?
We already know
Leading
that.
up all the way to Election Day. Number two, it seems every single day, these early voting numbers are continuing to trend in the right direction for Republicans. So
it is. Salute to Devory Darkins. Make sure y'all go over and go subscribe to his channel, man. He's a great channel. Got a great channel over there. Salute to him doing his thing over there. Make sure y'all please go over to his channel, subscribe to him, let him know in the comment section that The Real Adogg sent you. And I definitely had to check this out. I'm like, here we go again. Here we go again. So y'all got to get ready for this because every single day they're going to be pushing this lie to try to convince people to vote for Kamala Harris. And I cannot wait. I am waiting on Tuesday night when Donald Trump win. Oh my God. I just can't wait. And just wait until Wednesday morning when CNN, MSNBC, all of them going to be crying tears. And I can't wait to report on it. I am ready. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Thank you all for watching, especially the ones that made it to the end. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.